Hi, scientists!
My name is Joy.
And my name is Steph.
And welcome to another Fun Fact Friday. Steph, what are we going to do today?
Well, this week is Earth Week, Miss Joy, and we're going to be talking about something that you do.
I do.
You do. And I do.
You do?
I do. And they do.
They do.
They do.
We do?
We do.
Cool. What is it?
Let's find out.
Okay. What was that?
Poop!
Steph! No, that's not how we say it.
Why not? It's poop. It's poopy. Poop. Dookie. Duty. Turds. Right?
Steph! No, scientists, we're scientists. That's not how we call that. It's called feces, droppings, defecation. But today we're going to call it SCAT.
Scat.
Just simply SCAT.
Who?
SCAT.
Scat.
Yes.
And
SCAT.
how do we define scat? What is scat?
SCAT is the product of digestion. In other words, when an animal eats food, all the food goes through the digestive system. The digestive system absorbs the nutrients, and whatever is not used, it expels, in other words, get out of the body in a form of waste.
Okay, got it.
That is what SCAT is. Question, scientists. Why are we talking about SCAT during Earth Week?
Well, Earth Week is all about keeping the environment healthy and keeping our Earth at an equilibrium, at balance, right?
Okay.
Well, without SCAT, the Earth actually wouldn't have to be at balance. SCAT contains nutrients. Not all nutrients are absorbed by animals. So when it gets cycled through an animal, they recycle it back into the Earth, where we'll put nutrients back into the environment, which will be cycled again through the Earth and back through the animals over and over again through what we call the nutrient cycle.
Okay, so you're telling me that whatever I eat, okay, when it comes out of me, it still have nutrients?
Yes.
And when it reaches the Earth, those nutrients are going to enrich that soil.
Exactly.
That soil is going to get eaten by other animals, and those animals are going to get eaten by others. So you're telling me that we cannot live without SCAT?
Absolutely not. SCAT is one of the most important parts of the Earth.
I think I get it now. So if I have a healthy environment, right, the animals that are living in there, their SCAT is going to show me how good they're eating and how much they're eating.
Exactly.
So an environment that doesn't have a lot of food, doesn't have a lot of SCAT, doesn't have a lot of animals, is not a healthy environment.
It's not a healthy environment. It's all connected.
Are we going to be playing with SCAT today?
We are. And who better to play with SCAT than with Miss Yasmine? So we're going to head over with Miss Yasmine now to see some cool SCAT samples.
There you go. Ready? Let's do
go.
this.
Now, welcome Yasmine.
Thank
I'm glad you could join us today. Yasmine is our animal care technician here at Nature Postings,
Yes.
which makes her our residential SCAT expert.
Yes, I love SCAT.
Now, I have some questions for you. First of all, Yasmine, who else other than you would be interested in SCAT?
Well, we have an abundance of people that love SCAT just as much as I do. We have naturalists, environmentalists, researchers, trackers, hunters, all sorts of different types of people that love SCAT.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, but what's the appeal? Why are you guys looking at SCAT? What does SCAT say about the environment of these animals?
Well, SCAT can tell us exactly how healthy an environment is. And we have a couple of factors that we use. We look at size, amount, location, shape, content, and texture.
Oh, okay, let's slow down. I'm new to SCAT, so let's start with size.
Okay.
What does the size tell us?
Well, the size can tell you exactly how big that animal is. For example, we have our timber wolf here, and now timber wolves are bigger animals, so the SCAT would be bigger. Now, if you look at the gray squirrel, the SCAT is very, very small.
Very tiny.
So you would assume that SCAT that is small comes from a smaller animal, and SCAT that is bigger comes from a bigger animal.
Okay, got it. And you had mentioned amount. Why do we look at amount for?
Well, amount can tell you exactly how much food is in that area. So we know if there's an abundance of food by how big the SCAT is, and whether or not we are limited.
Okay, okay. And the location, why is it important to look at the location?
Well, the location can tell you exactly what kind of animals live in that area. And also, if you find SCAT in a certain area, it might mean that that animal is close by, because they will only defecate where they're comfortable.
Got it. That makes sense. I only defecate where I'm comfortable.
Me too.
And lastly, the shape, the content, the texture, what are all those things?
Now, that's a lot, but the shape can tell you exactly what animal it came from, because they all have their unique shapes. Now, the content can tell you what these animals eat. So we have our carnivores, our herbivores, and our omnivores. So they all have different diets, so all of their defecations are going to look different. And the texture is going to tell you how long it's been there. To make it easier, I brought a couple of different models for us to look at.
Okay, great. So let's start over here with the carnivores. Now, these are animals that only eat meat, correct? Yes. Yeah. So what makes their SCAT different?
Well, if we look here at the carnivore's SCAT, you can see that the ends are kind of tapered off, which means that they kind of get smaller towards the end. This is because they're usually softer than the other defecations. Now, with carnivores' SCAT, they usually contain fur and feathers and bones and just any type of remains of the animals that they ate.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. Now, what about the herbivores? Because the herbivores are animals that only eat vegetation. So how is their SCAT different?
Well, the herbivores, first of all, have a longer intestine than the other diets. That's because they only eat vegetation. So vegetation is naturally harder to break down, so it needs to take a little bit longer, which is why they have that longer intestine. But with their defecation, since it takes longer, it comes out in a dry pellet shape. And you can find types of seeds and nuts and any types of remains of plants.
Awesome. All right, and then moving on to the omnivores. These guys have the best of both worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
They eat a little bit of vegetation, but they can also eat meats and other animals.
Yeah.
So what makes their defecation different?
Well, they're kind of like the middle ground of both of these diets here. So they don't have the super soft defecation like carnivores do, and they don't have the super tough ones that herbivores do. They're kind of the middle ground. So we have these blunt shapes, unlike carnivores, and they do contain fur and feathers and bones, just like carnivores, but they can also contain plants and seeds and nuts, just like herbivores.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I'm sure that everybody loves to see the models, but Yasmine, I think they want to see the real thing.
Well, lucky for you, I have a fresh batch.
That's perfect. Let's go.
Let's go.
Hey Jasmine, I heard that you have a fresh batch of SCAT.
Yes, I just collected all of these samples from our Nature Postings animals today so that we can play a fun game I like to call Who Dung It?
Ooh, Dung It. How do we play the game?
You're gonna have 5 seconds to guess which of our Nature Postings animals dung it from the options on the screen.
I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. Okay, let's start with number 1.
Who dung it?
Yasmine, who dung number 1?
Chico the chinchilla, our herbivore.
Okay, let's go to number 2.
Who dung it?
Yasmine, who dung number 2?
Gretel, our red-tailed boa, who's a carnivore.
Okay, let's go to number 3.
Who dung it?
Okay, Jasmine, who dung number 3?
Indigo, our blue-tongued skink, who's a omnivore.
Okay, let's go now to number 4.
Who dung it?
Okay, Jasmine, who dung number 4?
Alice and Gorda, our pygmy hedgehogs, who are omnivores.
Okay, now let's go to number 5.
Who dung it?
Jasmine, who dung number 5?
Nigel and Walter, our uromasics, who are herbivores.
Ooh, okay, let's go now to number 6.
Who dung it?
Okay, who done number 6, which by the way,
Very
is
stinky.
really smelly.
Gypsy and Heisenberg are ferrets who are carnivores.
Okay, ready. Okay, so let's go to number 7. Who done it? Yasmine, who done number 7?
Patty and Misha are Russian tortoises who are herbivores.
Okay, and our last one, it's number 8. Who done it? Jasmine, last one but not least, number 8.
We have Leo, our fat-tailed gecko, who is an insectivore, and Leo, our leopard gecko, who is also an insectivore.
This was a really cool game, Jasmine. I didn't know we can tell so many different things about animals just looking at their SCAT.
Well, I had a lot of fun bringing my SCAT to you.
Yes, and it's really smelly around here now.
So make sure you guys tune in next week for our next Fun Fact Friday. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you next week to
Discover the truth in nature's voice. Bye, scientists!